Hey guys, welcome to Saturday morning shenanigans. We've got a 460 Lexus here that has a steering rack wobble, and essentially what's going on is the bushings in there have worn out. So upon doing some research here, the bolt that is right there, that guy right there, is kind of trapped in there by the AC. I took the nut off the bottom and it pushes up and then it hits the bottom of the AC right there. So that's not fun. On the other side, it hits the alternator. That bolt hits the AC and is captured, so that's unfortunate. And this bolt, there you can see the top of it right there above the whatever that hose is. That bolt is captured by the alternator. To get the alternator off, you gotta do the serpentine belt. To get the serpentine belt off, it's a mess. It's a lot of time. There's a power steering. Where is it? There's a power steering pulley up above the alternator that would have to come out to get the top bolts of the alternator out. It's really a mess. So I'm going to try to do it without doing any of that. Save a lot of time, save someone else time in the future, hopefully. So let's see if it works. Another thing to mention is there's no subframe to drop out here. That's the frame right there, and welded to it is this cross member that goes all the way across, and then it's welded on the other side up there. So no way to drop a subframe to do this job, unfortunately. And lifting the engine doesn't sound like a good option either. Step one, buy bolts that are M14 by 1.5 and 180 millimeters long. These are 2.0 thread pitch, but I'll throw a lock washer on. I just couldn't find any 1.5 thread pitch in the area. So make sure you have these before you start this project. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get a Sawzall in here and cut the head of the bolt off, drop it out the bottom, and put the new one in from the bottom, and then I'll have the nut up here. That way, I don't have to take apart half of the car to get to it. Okay, on the driver's side, I'm gonna cut that bolt first. Turn wheels to the left and prop this thing up with a 2x4. You can see the bolt. That's what I'm gonna cut. Head of the bolt is up above, bottom, well, you know. So, yourself a long metal blade. And basically, it should work out. So I'll cut that bolt and go from there. This is slightly terrifying, but it is coming. I do have a new bolt, so it should be fine. Okay, made it through. Drop that out. I did have to use the handsaw for just a little bit at the end there. That's what it looks like. I'll pull this block out. Okay, onto the passenger side. Used a bungee cord to hold down a couple lines. Where are they? Right over here. And with those being held down, got access to that bolt. So I'll cut it right toward the top. Same thing, let it drop out the bottom, replace the new bolt upside down. Well, I got sick of cutting this one, so I just over tightened it until it broke. I was about halfway through and I doled up 2 blades, so just got a cheater bar and broke it off. Okay, both of these bolts are out, and it looks like the length is closer to 165 millimeter, and the width is, let's see here, there's 10. They're close to 14. They seem to be a little bit under 14. The reason I say that, they're not as big as the new ones that I got that are M14, which is fine. The M14s are gonna work better with the Whiteline bushings that I got. It's a tighter fit. All right, this job sucks. I disconnected the shaft, steering shaft, and the lines and the tie rod ends. Tried to pull it out, and of course it doesn't fit. It's not even close to fitting. I don't know how they pull this apart in a shop. I assume they have to take out the inner tie rods and then pull the rack out, maybe at an angle. And these are what had to come out. Not a fun job. Alright, so what I've been doing is getting a chisel in there and just creating a little separation and just trying to go all the way around. There's really not enough room to do much, but hopefully I can get an air hammer on it soon and knock it out. And then after that, the top one, maybe I can push it from the bottom out the top. So that's the plan here. Yeah, enough beating and enough physics, more or less. I got a clamp on one side and a socket that barely fits in there on the other. I'm just pushing that socket through to push this stupid thing out. There we go. I think I got it. Yeah. There we go. Stupid thing. Number 4. Jeez. Alright, all 4 of them are out. That was a terrible job. That was not fun. Obviously, if you're gonna loosen up the rack with the steering shaft, make sure you mark it so you get it back in the same place. It was nice having all the wiggle room so I could move it around and really get at these different bushings. There we go. So now I'll throw the new bushings in, put a bolt in, call it a day. Oof, been at this for a while. It's dark out. Wow, this camera is really good. Bolts are in. There's one right there. So nuts on the top now. The bolt comes through the bottom. So if this job ever has to be done again, or if the power steering rack has to come out, which I found is impossible to take it out, the bolt is easily pulled out. Can't see much over here, but same deal. I'll tighten that up and that'll suck that bushing in. That sleeve, it'll suck it down. Button it back up. Hook the power steering lines back up, and I'm done. All fixed. All right, got this thing on a pretty long test drive, about 6-hour trip through the mountains, and I found the steering shaft. It comes in down below here, can't really see it. It's a tooth off, so I was having to hold the wheel about 10 degrees to the left the entire time, so I'm gonna move that. It's also got a pretty terrible whine in the rack now. I think there's still some air in here, so what I'm gonna do is turn all the way left and hold it for about 30 seconds, turn all the way right, hold it for 30 seconds, and it should slowly get rid of all those air bubbles. They should dissipate, go to the top of the reservoir. Thanks for watching.